Okay.
Not too much light.
Coffee, Tim Horton muffin. The storm is starting. Now, there's going to be something here that I'm very interested in. How you doing?
I'm great, Charles. How are you doing?
Good, good. David Cohen, leader of the New Brunswick Green Party.
And what?
I don't want to drink it. How come it's so foggy here? That's all right. Okay.
Putting your finger on it.
Yeah, no, that's all right. Listen, you don't know what we're going to talk about. We know the issue, but this is the first time I'm doing an interview that I absolutely do not know what I'm talking about. So, they're going to, really, first time. Some people might dispute that, but first time, in my view.
We should get that in history.
Yeah, I know. I'll do that. I'm going to make this video last for 20 minutes. I know people got a short attention span. If it's too long, they're not going to listen to it. But we're going to talk about the forestry. There's going to be changes. I don't even know what it's called. The forestry management. What's it called?
Allward's Forestry Plan.
Elward Forestry Plan. Okay. Sure. Now, Elward, I asked him yesterday, he says, oh, come out in a few weeks. Higgs, you hear him talk, he says, coming out in a few weeks. Like, they're not, they're a little bit worried. Okay, how does the system work now? What's the system they have in place now?
The system now works at two levels. The Crown lands are divided up into big regions called licenses, which are assigned to large companies to control.
Such as Fraser, Irving.
The Irvings have a big chunk. Fornebu, which is that Norwegian company that originally was going to build the solar.
Oh yeah, them in Miramichi. Yeah.
Well, they ended up with the entire license because they bought UPM's mills, and
yes,
they never built the solar plant.
That's right.
And they had a deal with Sean Graham for him that said he would pay them back if they didn't build the solar plant for the money they spent on buying the old UPM mills in Miramichi and Nelson Miramichi, if you can imagine.
Yeah.
But they still own the sawmill in Bathurst, which UPM used to have. And so they were given the license, the whole super license, 1 million hectares almost, from the Miramichi up through Bathurst.
They were all given all that wood in exchange.
So, well, the wood is, so they manage the license, and then the wood is allocated to different companies. Some of it goes to them, some of it goes to the Irving, some of it goes to other companies. And the decision about both issuing licenses and who gets the wood that's cut on those licenses is made behind closed doors. There's no process that's transparent or public.
No public hearings?
About how that happens. No public hearings. So, for example, right now, Miramichi Lumber, the Anderson Mill, the Miramichi, is trying to keep their 100 employees working, but they can't get the amount of larger logs they need to saw into lumber that they make. They're just getting the smaller stuff. What they need is going south out of the Miramichi to other mills. So they have to shut down. It's crazy. It used to be that the wood around communities essentially was tied to that community, would go in to support those mills in those communities.
Yes.
Right? So people had jobs locally based on the local forest resources.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So how's it work now?
So that's ended.
That's ended? So how long?
So that, well, how long? Since really since the mill started to shut down in the Miramichi in the north, because we lost it. People know we lost the big mill in Dalhousie, we lost the big mills in Miramichi, we lost the mill in Bathurst. So
where is that wood going?
So, well, I mean, it's going to different places, but some of it's going to Twin Rivers, some of it's going to Irving's, different Irving mills,
but not to support the local mill.
They get a little bit. Last year, of the whole year, they got about 5% of the wood that was of the quality that you could saw, not pulpwood, but saw material. So big enough to saw. And that was it from the whole mirror machine, 5%.
5%. And where did the other 95% go?
Well, Fornebu gets it. Fornebu ships it to Irving's mills. Other Irving's got allocations. So there's quite a lot of different companies that get wood off of there. But remember, I mean, the Irving's allocation overall from the Crown lands is right now about 50% of all the wood goes to Irving mills.
50% the Crown land.
Of the wood.
The wood of Crown land goes to Irving.
Softwood. Softwood. Spruce fir.
Goes to Irving.
To be specific, spruce fir.
Is this a bedroom deals going on that they get 50% of the softwood from the Crown land?
The whole process happens behind closed doors. You know, the government decides who's going to get the wood. Based on what criteria, we don't know. There's no transparency to it. The plywood mill in Miramichi has been trying to reopen. Boy, another 100 people. They can't get any wood off Crown land. The government has not given them an allocation off of the Crown land from the Miramichi. So the wood basket, you know, the amount of wood around communities is no longer belongs to those communities, and it needs to, absolutely, it has to belong to those communities. I mean, not officially belong, but you know what I mean, assigned to those communities.
Yeah.
So there needs to be some fair, open, public process.
So right now, it's not going to the local community. Now, what this Alberta Forestry Program, what is that going to accomplish?
Well, it's going to sacrifice water and wildlife. It's going to sacrifice independent mills. Two things, short term, long term. Short term, it's going to provide a lot more wood to the big mills, like the Irvings.
To the local community, or more big wood to go outside?
It's going to mostly go to the Irvings, is my guess. We haven't seen the details yet. But, you know, we know Jim Irving has been flying politicians around and touring them around to all their mills saying, you know, if we get what we want, we're going to have this many more jobs in this mill, we're going to make this investment in that mill and expand the St. John pulp mill, and so on and so forth. $500 million, something like that, maybe.
You mean they're not asking for forgivable loan?
They're saying,
Plus that?
They're saying what they want is two things. What they want is authority to cut more wood now off the Crown lands and guarantees of even more wood in the future. Now, there is no extra wood left on the Crown lands to cut because it's been overcut. All the clear cutting that's been going on has overcut the Crown lands. So where are they going to get this extra wood? We're hearing anything between 16% to 21% more spruce and fir to be cut on Crown lands. It's in the budget. If you look at the money coming in off of stumpage, it increases 16%, not because they're raising stumpage, because they're going to be cutting more wood. Where's it going to come from? Here's where the wood is. It's in the buffers.
Buffer zone. I was just going to say that. The buffer zone?
Buffers along people who have flown over New Brunswick.
What is it now?
I've seen.
What is it now, the buffer zone?
How big?
No, yeah. How big?
30 meters.
30 meters.
So that's about, altogether, if you add them all up around all the rivers and streams and lakes, about 7% of the Crown land. If you add up all those strips.
Yeah, yeah.
7% by area.
Excuse me, David, how far is 30 meters? What would you say, from here to where?
Well, it's from here to probably
that brick building?
The brick building. Well, not the one across the street, but the one down by the parking lot. Yeah, something like that.
So, that's all the rivers around in the Crown Land area, and or in this province?
The Crown Lands, yeah.
Crown Land, okay.
So there's wood there. Nice wood, of course, because they've been able to clear cut in there. Mm-hmm. They could select cut in there. They're permitted to select cut, but
that'll be too hard.
Companies don't like to. It's expensive, more expensive than clear cutting, which is cheaper.
Exactly.
Right. And the other place where there's wood is the wildlife zones that DNR created. So there's some wildlife zones out there.
Yeah. For
the wildlife that needs sort of older forests to survive. So those are the two places where there's wood. So that's where they're going to get the wood.
That's all the big changes gonna.
So that's pretty big.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, if they open up the buffers, my hunch is that they will redefine what a watercourse is, to eliminate the requirement to have buffers around the small streams, the small brooks, up in the headwaters of the rivers and so on, all the little feeder streamlets and
Show gas is nothing compared to this.
So if that's true, if that's what they're going to do, because that's what happened with wetlands. You know, not a lot of people are interested in wetlands, but Mark Van Blaney changed the definition of the wetlands, basically.
That's right.
And said, okay, half the wetlands in the province no longer exist, and therefore don't have to be, don't come under the protection regulations. There's no protection for them anymore to encourage development in those swamps and bogs. So why wouldn't they do that again? This is what I'm thinking, is redefine the watercourse to eliminate all the small little brooks and streams, which you have to, you know, because they're all kind of together up in the headwaters of the rivers. You can imagine there's water everywhere that's the source of the water for our rivers. So you have quite a bit of buffer area around all of those to allow to redefine them so they're no longer protected and just clear cut right over them. I was talking to a guy today who was telling me that happens sometimes in any event, and he's got a silviculture crew, and they just plant spruce right in the stream beds, in the little brook beds of little brooks.
Yeah.
They're dried up in the summertime.
How'd they do in other provinces, David?
So, well, it's different in different provinces, but they
Quebec, what they do? Is it 250 meters or is it more?
I don't know.
I know.
So that's the short term. So sacrificing our water and our wildlife to increase the amount of spruce and fir that can go into Irving's mills, and that means more wood on the market, which means they'll buy less wood from the woodlot owners. More wood to compete against the private wood. Because that's the other thing that happened. When all the big mills shut down up north, Miramichi and north, the wood that used to go in there, what happened to it? It didn't get left in the forest.
Nope.
It got transferred to the remainder of the mills in the south. So they got all this new wood that they weren't getting before, so they didn't have to buy it from the woodlot owners, which was a disaster for the woodlot owners. Their market disappeared, their business, their livelihoods vanished. It's crazy, insane.
Bottom line is too many backroom deal going on.
So, well, let me say the second thing.
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
The other piece to this, I know this is long, I'm sorry.
No.
The other piece to this, and this is what the Irvings have been looking at for a long time, is some kind of binding guarantee. The government will guarantee that they can clear cut a bigger volume of wood off in the future. Provide them some kind of guarantee.
You mean when they replant or they regrow, guarantee that they'll be cut in 20 years from now, everything.
That they'll be able to cut some bigger amount of wood in the future. Now, we don't know the details of that at all. When they proposed this in 2001, someone leaked me the letter to the government, and I publicized it. And that led to the Yacoquari study, you'll remember, where they recommended this guarantee. Well, the government of the day, when it was passed around to departments, they said, that's crazy. You can't guarantee, you can't provide a legal guarantee on how much wood you might provide in the future. How are you going to do that? That puts the government in too much risk. You know, things happen. So they said no. But you know, the Irvings are relentless in trying to get what they want.
Oh yes.
And so that's, we understand, some kind of guarantee will be in this plan. If it's not meaningful, then it's not going to be in the plan. So
this will be like a guarantee of where that Norway, that industry from Norway, that was guaranteed wood in exchange to build that, what was it called again? In Miramichi?
Oh, the solar plant.
And they can't really predict the future.
No.
But then they turn around and guarantee in 25 years from now.
Right.
And in 25 years from now, they'll say, hey, we can't do that. But it was
Well, so-
signed and sealed and delivered in the year 2014, so therefore we have to do it.
Right, so this is speculation as to what this is going to look like. But the question is, will we have to guarantee financial compensation if that wood isn't available in the future in the volumes we guaranteed?
Yeah, that's true. There could be a budworm, a second budworm arriving. And,
Are we going to be expecting? I'm just asking the questions. I don't know the answers.
You know, it's just a guarantee. If you get out the contract, the shale gas contract, then you got to pay a penalty of maybe $250 million to the big oil company. Who knows? We don't know what the guarantee is.
So we're looking at this plan sacrificing our water by opening up buffers.
Yeah.
That's what I'm concerned about.
Yeah, I got that one there. I got that one pretty quick.
Sacrificing our wildlife by clear cutting in the wildlife zones the DNR has put up. Sacrificing independent mills by sending the vast majority of the wood to the big mills in a few locations around the province. So that means you're sacrificing the economic opportunities for local rural communities that are surrounded by crown land.
Yeah, got it. Got that one.
So how do you expect to create jobs? How do you expect to create any kind of sustainability in this province if you're just caving in
Who's minister?
to what the industry wants?
Is it Bruce?
The current minister is Paul Robichaud.
Paul Robichaud, Monsieur ADFD, Master.
Paul Robichaud is the minister. The deputy now is Bill Levesque, who came over from Department of Economic Development, the deputy minister. And interestingly enough, the former deputy minister of Natural Resources is now the deputy minister of Environment. And if they're going to open up the water courses, to clear cutting in the brooks, the small brooks and the small streams, they have to do something in environment to make that possible.
And the deputy minister is there for life, and minister changes.
Well, the deputy minister's not there for life in any one department.
No, but I mean,
They move around.
They move around, but they got a job for life.
Well,
it's not like a politician. A politician could be out of there.
We want professional public servants who know their business.
But this guy knows too much business, resources, and environment.
I have no concern with that, but my concern is that this is going to go against everything Brunswickers hold dear about maintaining healthy water, maintaining wildlife on the Crown lands, maintaining our rural communities and giving them a fighting chance to do something.
Water is getting one hell of a battle of a war lately, yeah? I mean, you got the water for shale gas and now this.
Yeah.
Water is not going to stand a chance to survive here in New Brunswick if those two goes ahead.
We have this new disease of short-term itis. Short-term itis, like tonsillitis.
Yeah.
Right? Everything is short-term.
Short-term, we don't look long-term.
Everything is about the money.
Yeah.
Everything is about the money, no matter what.
Yeah.
So, New Brunswickers aren't going to stand for that. And we've seen that in the communities where they've been exploring for shale gas. People communities are saying, and their mayors are saying, and the professionals in their communities are saying, and everybody is saying, the priests in the communities are saying, no. And the government doesn't care what people think. They try and make it out like it's just a few people, who rabble-rousers or whatever, but it's a vast majority of people in those communities.
How far
gas is being looked at?
How far can't clear cut from the road, from the highway? Do you know?
Well, they eliminated that.
They eliminated that?
10 years ago, the technical guys at DNR realized that they couldn't continue cutting the same amount of spruce and fir every year that they had been cutting in the past. The industry said, the large pulp company said, we want to keep it the same level or go up. They said, we sure can't go up. But they said, we need to keep it at the same level. So they said, we're going to have to find some extra wood. Politicians said, keep it at the same level. So where are they going to get that extra wood? Well, the first thing they did was say, okay, we're going to cut all the beauty strips along the highways. 30 meters, just like the brooks. 30 meters on the side of the numbered highways. Not the back roads, but
the highways.
So they cut that. I mean, if you're down the Hanwell, the big hill going out the Hanwell, in a storm now, the forest with the woods all cut down is terrible. You can't see, drifts. Before the woods, made it easy to drive up that road. It was bad enough on the hill, but you could see. So they got wood out of there. And the next 5 years rolled around. The last 5 years said we want to keep the same level of cut. And the technicians at DNR said it's got to drop by 5%. We're overcutting for softwood. We could drop more for hardwood, but 5% for softwood. They've got to find the polisher. Said no, we got to keep the same level of cut. You got to find some wood. So they said, okay, we'll open up the deer yards.
Really?
To clear cut. You can always cut in the deer yards a little bit, you know, to maintain them still as deer habitat, but clear cut the deer, liquidate the deer yards. And you wonder why there's deer all over the road. Anyway, so
that's been eliminated. All the clear cut, now they're allowed to do clear cut right to the highway.
Right to the highway, right through deer yards, and soon, right over the small brooks and streams is my prediction. I hope I'm wrong.
Yes, I hope you're wrong too.
And certainly through the other wildlife zones that were set up by DNR to protect wildlife. Because, you know, you can't have wildlife on the Crown lands. It was just one big clear-cut plantation.
So what are you going to do at this news conference? Have J.D. Irving there and the minister and say this is the new second coming of Christ, all kinds of jobs, and this is good?
Well, I don't know how they're going to do it, Charles. But yeah, they're going to announce 2,000 construction jobs at the mill in St. John and maybe some other mills to expand the mill for the pulp and the toilet paper. And then some number of permanent jobs that will be among all the mills, wherever they're going to be, as a result of forcing a lot more wood through the mills. So they've got put on an extra shift at plaster rock, for example, and so on. So that's what we're looking at.
So there's a lot of deal and whining going on right now as we speak.
You got it.
In the capital, like at the Blue Door, and just they're trying to get the best deal possible.
Look, we've got a conservative government that's desperate to prove that they're creating jobs and that they're getting the economy going. You've got the Liberals cheering, telling them to hurry up again on this forestry deal, which we've seen before. You know, when the Conservatives were still thinking about whether to refurbish Point Lepreau, the Liberals kept saying when they were in opposition, hurry up, do it.
Yeah.
When they were thinking about building a Colson Cove over to take ore emulsion from Venezuela, the Liberals in opposition said, hurry up, do it. How'd that work out for us? And now with this forestry plan, the Liberals are saying, hurry up and do it.
Yeah.
What is wrong with those guys?
And people don't take the time and read the blueprint of the platform of a political party, and you know when this booklet is going to come out, these fancy booklets, nobody's going to read it. So I hope that people take the time and listen to this video that we just made.
They're going to put it on, the spin will be on max, the spin cycle will be on max and maximum, to try and take people's attention away from what the real consequences of this plan for the future of Crown lands will be.
Thank you.